Mm. Hello. Today's Thursday. Oh my gosh, I gotta pay a bill. I haven't paid it. October 12th. Let's see if I have a Bible or something related to the Bible that I thought might be interesting. I mostly have wisdom books from Asia, mostly related to Buddhism, some Hinduism, some Chinese philosophy. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, this one might be interesting. Oh, that's also interesting. Mm, mm, let's see. Ah, mm, mm. Oh, I have to take this off of, of uh, how come I can't turn off my background? None, none. I chose none. Let's see. No, it's not coming off. Mm, mm, I can't take it off. Let's see. Let's try it. That's weird. Let's see. Disactivate. Uh, this is weird. Let's see how do you, now I don't have access to the control. That's weird. None. Okay. That's the way you do it. All right. Then I can go. I'll switch to the cam. Okay. So let's see if I find some interesting book. Mm, mm, think uh, uh, down. Mm. Ah, let's see. Oh, what's that book? I don't know. Oh, oh, thank you. Right. What's that? Oh, 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 oh. This I think might be a good one. Ah, 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 mm, ah, ah, mm, mm, mm. Mm. The Matrix. Ah, 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 ah. Mm. Just look up here. Mm. Ah, ah. Oh, wow. What is that? That- oh, that might be interesting. Mm. Oh, oh, oh. Time, time, but, right. Mm, mm, mm. I have to go around to get to those. Mm, mm. Eh, 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 I hope I don't fall and kill myself. Then you'll see live and it'll be recorded how I killed myself, like falling off my bed or something, like getting electrocuted. That would be funny, entertaining. Something. Ah, leave everyone. Let's see. Ah, ah, oh, huh, mm, What's this? Oh, yeah. Oh, ah, ah, mm, I see. Oh, understanding. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, super strong. Yeah, ah, I see. Oh, oh, there's one of David Norton's favorite. Well, I don't know if it's his favorite, but introduced us to it. The eight pillars of Greek wisdom. Mm-hmm. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see. That's just a portion of my books. There's more. Hmm. Let's see. Oh boy, there's some in here. Let's see. Oh, oh. Let's see if I can turn this around. Oh. Mm, mm, Today, oh boy, today I have an appointment with the landlady, Rosa. We're going to, um, well, I'm going to give her a ride, my car, in the morning around 10. Yeah, today's Thursday, around 10 to some special place where she volunteers. Hmm. And then I pick her up in the afternoon around 4. I guess she works from 10 to 4 and she gets paid with food, lots of food, boxes of food. I guess much of it is canned. Some of it that you have to freeze. Mm. Mm. And so she's gonna donate some of that food to me. So all I have to do is take her there and pick her up afterwards. She's gonna give me her car keys to pick her up because her car has more space for loading up. So there's some books in there. To the The Union of Listening. Okay. There's some books. Like, oh, let's see. Hmm. Uh, nah, uh, mm, mm, mm. No, I can't see. I can't read what down there. I'll turn it around. Okay, let's see. Here's some more books around here somewhere. Let's see what I got here. Mm, 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 uh, mm, uh, mm. Ah, okay. This is not just what. Well, this is not canonical. Mm. Oh, there's a good book over there. Words of Wisdom. Ah, 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 ah. Mm, I can't get to those from here. Mm, mm. What's that? That's a weird title. Mm. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, mm. Oh, I got a TV here. It doesn't knock things down too much. Mm. Mm. The enlightenment. Oh, uh, okay. Uh, I can't tell what's in this box or container. What box? I'd have to take this off. I'll leave this over here. This is like a battery. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is a good book. Maybe. Okay. Hmm. Again, the is how at the end. Oh, what's this? Um, hmm. Is this a Bible? It, morning prayer. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, another. Oh, but I think I already got that. Hmm. Mm. Mm. Oh, there's another one full of it's full. Mm. Oh, mm. 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 Mhm. Mm. I like to mm, try to read this one sometime, a little bit from it. Let's see. The let's see. Mm, what's this? It might have. Mm, mm. There's more books over here. How am I going to get to them? Mm. Oh, maybe I could put this over here. Ah, and this over here. Mm, and this over here. Uh, ah, mm, mm. Let's throw this over there. Mm. Uh, uh, Lambs to slaughter. Mm. The way of the pilgrim. Mm. 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 Yes. Oh, God. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Oh, oh, wow. Oh, wow. There's some wild books over here. Mm. Oh, mm. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Mm. It's such a mouse. Mm. 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 Oh, wow. Mm. Mm. Oh, there's some Oh, oh, yeah. Mm. Uh, eh. Mm. Mm. That's good. Okay. Application of impossible things. My Near-Death Experience in Iraq by Natalie Sudman. And here she is recovering. Maybe she got her eye poked out. That's former President George W. Bush. Is that correct? The son of the former first the other Bush, the first Bush. That was the former president. So what is that book about? Endings are just beginnings. There have been uncountable number of people killed and maimed by bombings during the war in Iraq. This is an amazing story of a woman who survived a near fatal explosion. Incredibly, that was only the beginning of her story. During the event, she experienced a near death experience. She retained vivid memories of going to the spirit side, and from that unique out of body perspective, she helped celestial beings put her body back together so she could return to life. Mm, mhm. Skills and the consciousness body connection. They then requested that I return to my physical body to accomplish some further work. I was given to understand that my particular skills with energy were needed at this time and would be effective only were I actually present in a body within the earth vibration. I replied that I was willing, but given my level of exhaustion and this interest in the difficulties of this particular physical life to date, I would request that certain assistance be provided within that continued physical existence. Mm. That I could be so easily enticed to return to the physical when I was so exhausted is amusing to me now. I am a bit obsessive about tasks in physical life too. I like to call it directed. Okay, I hesitate to outline or specifically discuss the skills that were highlighted as useful to the gathering. I consider them unique and interesting to me because they're mine, but I don't want a description of some of them to be interpreted as grandiose or special in anyone's value hierarchy. Part of our culture artificially elevates certain skills by attributing them to advanced souls, mystics, prophets, yogis, or shamans. Other parts of our culture relegate some of the skills to the trash barrel of psychology, the mentally deluded. Both are distortions of what I consider to be normal perception and universally accessible skills. From the viewpoint of the blink environment, we're all a little deluded and or deranged in some of our collective beliefs about what is real. It was once assumed the earth revolved around the sun, and if we think we aren't fooled by equivalent certainties today, the ignorant, if endearing arrogance of that will undoubtedly be proven at some point. At the same time, we are all shamans for ourselves and for each other. So those that's just chapter 5 of her experience, what she was, what she had to do, or maybe she got helped. Uh, some spirit guides on the other side. So, what is this book? Words of Wisdom. Huh? 28, 20 days, 30 some, for a month maybe. We go through different items in Psalms and Proverbs. That might be good. It's got a lot of wisdom. Might be good to read sometime. Uh, I'll put it up here. Way up here. Hmm. Okay. So this book, uh, this book, uh, it fell apart. It looks pretty old. I think it says Common Prayers, Table of Contents. Mm. Mm. So it's got things like the ratification of the Book of Common Prayer, the preface, the order, how the Psalter is appointed to be read. The Psalter, Psalter, the order for daily morning prayer. Oh, let's see. Oh, Monday before Easter, Ash Wednesday. I think this is Catholic. The fourth Sunday in Advent. Whitney, the Psalter, Psalter. Selection of songs. Selection of songs. Oh, there's a page that came off somewhere. Maybe it goes in the front. So this little book might be complete. Let's see. It's got 296 pages, at least. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Look at that. It goes 200, 250, 194, 170, 106. Oh, wait. It goes 199, 94. Uh-oh. I think it's missing some pages because it goes from 92, 86, 77, 78, 84. Maybe not. Oh, wow. That page. It went to, oh, wow. Look at that. Page 562. Maybe this book was defective. So now it's going through pages. It switched over from pages 40 something, 20, 20. It went down to page 8, 7, 6. Then it jumps to 500 and something. Oh. So maybe it's got sections and it has to start over again. Selection from the Psalms of David in meter. And that's page 3. Oh, but what is page 1? See. Psalms selections from meter. It jumps to page 7. Morning prayer. See if I can get to the beginning pages of the beginning of the book. Morning prayer. Mm, mm, mm. The order for daily morning prayer. Let's get the table to find Easter day. Mm, general tables for finding the Dominical or Sunday letter. Tables for finding the holy days. A table and rules for the movable and immovable feasts. Table of lessons for September, for July. Oh, that calendar, morning prayer, evening prayer. Okay, so I could go look at October 12th and see what the morning prayer is supposed to be. Mm, 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 mm. October 12th, 12th, maybe. Mhm, mhm. Is that Daniel? Daniel 1, or Daniel 2, verse 2, and the lesson, the second lesson would be Luke 22 to 31. Whew, 22 to 31, Luke. Hey, interesting. Ah, ah, put it up here. Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay. What else do we got here? Oh, the cover for that book. Hmm. We're one of them. The other one got lost. Mm, mm. Oh, 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 okay. Ah, uh, uh, okay. Uh, mm, 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 mm. What's this one about? Oh, oh, here's another one. Ah, mm, 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 mm. Okay. Okay. So the true life of Jesus of Nazareth, the Confessions of Saint Paul. by Alexander Smythe. His parentage, his youth, his original doctrines and works, his career as public teacher and physician of the people, the nature of the great conspiracy against him, all the incidents of his tragic death. Dedicated to the Christian clergy of all denominations. Reverend Sirs, in compliance with the commands of my spirit friends, I am impelled to draw your attention to a subject of deep interest and vast importance to the Christian world. For 18 centuries and more, gentlemen of your profession have undertaken to teach and expound the doctrines of the Christian faith. Sermons as numerous as the sand, the sea, shore have been preached, and books have been written, enough in bulk to build a large city. Endeavoring to reconcile the Christian dogmas with truth and reason without accomplishing the end in view, for the same mysteries and subjects of dispute and contention exist now as in the commencement. Shocking to every one of common sense who is desirous of knowing the truth. The reason for this is obvious. The New Testament, which is the textbook of Christianity, when judged by the philosophy of the present day, is found to be a compilation of misstatements, misconceptions, perversions, and nearly everything else opposite to that which it professes to be. The very character of Jesus as therein represented is the myth, a being of fabulous and impossible existence, of whom it is impossible to conceive in any natural and consistent light. But at length it has pleased the supreme ruler of the universe that the truth shall be made known to mankind. The true character, history, and doctrines of Jesus are now brought to light by spiritual communications through me, the truth of which cannot be successfully opposed when all things pertaining to it shall have been made known. Therefore, I respectfully request you, Reverend Sirs, will suspend your judgments until you shall obtain a knowledge of the truth by investigating this book. Then, if you do your duty to God and man, you will acknowledge the truth and preach the same to the world, such being the desires and commands of the Spirit. In the hope and strong belief that your reverend order and the world at large will greatly profit by the perusal of this book, I remain your respectful and humble servant, Alexander Smythe. Maybe she's the great grandfather or something of Patty Smythe. 1899. Okay. It's the occult life of Jesus of Nazareth, embracing his parentage, his youth, his original doctrines and works, his career as a public teacher and physician of the people, the nature of the great conspiracy against him, all the incidents of his tragic life, given on spiritual authority from spirits who were contemporary mortals with Jesus while on earth, given through the mediumship of Alexander Smythe, revised and corrected edition. And okay, now we have a drawing of Jesus of Nazareth, what he looked like. Oh, okay. 1998 is the copyright of this book. Well, actually, it was first published in 1899, revised in 1968 and 1998. Let's see. So, let's see. Let's see. So Paul, prior to being Paul, was Saul. Let's see. As the feast of the Passover was soon to commence, Jesus, with his honorable and talented company of followers, not forgetting to include my own honorable self, concluded to start for Jerusalem. We passed along by the lake of Gennesaret and down the river Jordan, and then came in by the road to Jericho. So here we are, ready for new adventures. But there's one thing more that I must acquaint thee with, worthy soul. On my return to the city, I came across a man who told me that John the Baptist is in prison, sent there by Herod Antipas, tetrarch of Galilee. John had given offense by using his tongue too freely concerning Herod's family affairs. This man informed me also that John is coming to his right reason, that he begins to perceive that he has acted the fool in considering and treating Jesus as the Messiah. He wishes to see Jesus once more, for he says if Jesus is the true Messiah, he can deliver him from prison. And if he cannot do that, he will be convinced that Jesus is not what he thought him to be. Now, so thou mayest perceive, if this John gets out of prison and tells the people he has been mistaken about Jesus, he will undo in part our great work. In that case, responded Saul, it will not do to let him come out of his prison. I will think what is to be done in the matter. My dear Judas, I have to express my approbation of thy proceeding. I wish thee to continue in the same course until I give thee further orders. Tomorrow I shall have an interview with the high priest. Perhaps after that I shall have further orders for thee. Now let us take a parting cup of wine and terminate our conference till tomorrow. Then Saul and his agent acted accordingly. Okay. So, interesting book. We'll have to see how it goes. Or this book. This one's Spanish. It's about the Tibetan Lobsang Rampa. Soy tibetano, uno de los pocos que han llegado a este extraño mundo occidental. Me aseguran que algunas de mis afirmaciones es posible que no sean creídas. Están en su derecho de creerme o no. El Tíbet es un país desconocido para el resto del mundo, ha escrito Lobsang Rampa, Lama tibetano, cuyo destino le obligó a huir de su país y cuyos libros constituyen un apasionante y original relato de los contrastes entre Oriente y Occidente. Polémicas estremecedoras y hondas. Las obras de Lobsang Rampa testimonian una insólita vivencia que mantiene siempre en vilo al lector. Lobsang Rampa, this he wrote maybe 15 books. This one is called The Doctor of Lhasa. Lhasa, the capital of Tibet. The Doctor from Lhasa. He studied to be a doctor in Tibet, but his consciousness entered the body of an Englishman, and the Englishman started writing books about him as a Tibetan. Okay, so what's this book? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do if only I knew? Over 100 ways to walk the walk and talk the talk. So I can go like this and stop somewhere and say, Luke 6:27-28. But I tell you, who you love your enemy, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. To be misunderstood is not easy. We all face that once in a while, but even if that misunderstanding leads to rumors beyond spread about you, it is no reason to retaliate with the same tactic. Instead, Jesus tells us to love our enemies and pray for them. This is what he said. Okay, what would Jesus do? Okay. This one is the answer to the one before. I think that's how it goes. And so here's the case, the situation. So what would Jesus do when you're misunderstood? Mr. Blanchard is a slim, dark-haired, handsome man with a gentle smile. Being reserved and often quiet, he prefers to be in the background rather than the forefront. Financially well off, Mr. Blanchard gives generously and often secretively to his church. Beyond this, he is willing to do whatever service he is asked, whether it be ushering, serving in a committee, or even cleaning the church if the need arises. I shall never forget one Sunday morning during communion service when a blind man dropped the tray of glass communion cups on the floor. Without blinking an eye, Mr. Blanchard, in his finely tailored black suit, quickly dropped to his knees and began picking up the pieces of broken glass, all the while reassuring the blind man that everything was under control. Out in the business world, Mr. Blanchard is known to some as a shrewd businessman, to the point where he is sometimes misunderstood and, and people speak ill of him. The things he does for good are thought of as being self-serving or dishonest. Mm, okay. And then you go here and then you read about, but I tell you, hear me, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. So people misunderstand what the Mr. Blanchard is up to. They see his actions as being merely self-serving. In a way, they're self-serving because you could say that his faith that led him into the practice of serving others as a habit that he doesn't think about. Mm, But others see that as self-serving, like he's doing it for gaining in Buddhism it would be called good merit, good karma. So he's self-serving himself. But I tell you who hear me, love your enemy. Is that saying that Mr. Blanchard should love his enemies and do good for those who hate you? Because maybe Mr. Blanchard, maybe he's feeling that people hate him or something. Maybe he's been getting a little bit of bad reputation, or they've been there people maybe in the business world talking bad about him. Or maybe at least people are saying that he's a shrewd businessman. So that some people even say, he's so shrewd that they start speaking ill of him. And so whatever he does that's good for others, they see, oh, he's doing it for his own benefit. So is that saying that love your enemies? Is that for Mr. Blanchard's own personal practice, or is that for us to love our enemies? To when we see somebody that's incredibly good, and maybe we get jealous of them, and figure out, oh, he's maybe he has a selfish intention for doing that. Maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't think about it anymore. It's become a habit, mm, and it spontaneously it helps others. uh, yeah, I guess I'll gather up some of these books. Look at them at a later time. This one might be good. Jesus, what he really said and did. This is by this is written kind of for kids, but it's written by a scholar. Maybe he's a translator of ancient books. His name is Stephen Mitchell, author of the Gospel According to Jesus. Here's a book for teens with a different take on Christianity, boldly stated without apology to the majority viewpoint. Mitchell taps into the question of truth and faith so central to adolescence. He models for readers Okay. Mhm, mhm. Okay, I'm back. I had a phone call. Hmm, it was what time is it? 8:25. I have to leave at 10. Okay, so we got this one. Oh, we got uh, mm, mm, that's an interesting book. Okay. Pillars of Truth. Okay. Oh, but what's the book that I pulled out that said, "Wow, this is a good book." Where did I put it? Well, I lost it. Hmm. Or maybe it's under here. No, that's not it. Hmm. Mm-mm. Yes. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Yes, I don't. Maybe not. Mm-mm. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe it fell. Maybe it's over here. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, oh no, that's not it. But that's a good book. That should be. Oh, what's that book? Oh no, that's not a book. Hmm. 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 Oh, hmm. It's in here somewhere. Hmm. Hmm. No. Hmm. 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 Maybe I didn't get it out. It's a book I saw. Hmm. 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 No. Hmm. Hmm. Which makes symbol. What is that? What is that book? Master Secret. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, there it is. I think. Oh no, that's not it. But maybe it was in this area. Hmm. 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 Right. Ah. Oh. There it is. Oh no, that's not it. Hmm. 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 It's a pretty thick book. Hmm. 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 Oh. Mm, 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 mhm, mhm, mm, 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 mm. Maybe I'll put it back up here. I don't think so. This piece of book. Hmm. Anyway, there's the ah, my leg's still hurting. My left leg, and the thigh. Anyway, there's a oh, what's this? Oh yeah, that's that book. That's a good book. Okay. Oh, well, let's flip it over. There we go. Oh man, it's not looking. Huh? It's not flipping over. Hmm. Oh, there we go. So, oh my back. Let's put the heating pad. Turn it on. It feels good. Ah, mm, eh, so, mm, so, uh, uh, mm. I found oh my gosh. Okay, here. Share with you. Let's see if I can paste it on. Uh, where's oh, shit. Okay. So I found this article. A question posed on Quora sometimes produces interesting conversations. All kinds of topics. Let's see. Okay, so someone asked, which of the four canonical gospels is the best written? And, uh, and an author answered, I wonder who he is. Tyrone Harbert. He answered questions like, was Jesus the son of David? What happens if I read 4 chapters of the Bible every day consistently? Hmm. What is the single most important line in the Torah? Hmm. Besides Noah, were there any other humans that survived the great flood? Is it reasonable to think then that we are all descendants of Noah? How long should a teenager, 13 years, read her Bible every day? Uh, why do people believe in the rapture? Where is the justification from spiritual text? Did the Apostle Paul write half of the New Testament? Yes, that's a pretty accurate saying. Wow. How frequently, if ever, do you read the Bible? What motivates you to read the Bible? Uh, So this guy tries to read the Bible every day. Does the Old Testament or Tanakh explain why many people, Adam, Noah, etc., lived so long and why we no longer do? Hmm, that's an interesting question. Why does the evangelical church say that there are no contradictions in the Bible when they're plainly there for anyone to see? Was King James a good person? If not, was it justified to name a Bible after him? With so many Bible translations, one can have a hard time knowing which one to choose. Which one would you choose to read and why? How much of the Bible was changed and obscured by King James? What is the last book of the Bible? King James Version. Is Kierkegaard considered a mainstream theologian or was he a maverick? If you were to introduce the Bible to an adult for the first time ever, where would you start? Uh, wow, that's an interesting question. When God is clearly mentioned in the Bible verse Isaiah that He is one and only. So why do Christians worship Jesus Christ? He's the Son of God, not the God. Which of the four canonical Gospels is best written? And what were Matthew, Mark, John, and Paul's names prior to the translation to the King James Bible? What are the smartest theologians? Did the snake in the Garden of Eden have legs and could he speak? Uh, what does it mean to read the Bible tropologically? With Christian, they interpreting the figure. What do you think of John Nelson Darby and his pre-tribulation rapture theology? What is the Calvinist perspective on the tribulation? Hmm. How did King James change the Bible? Why did the King James have his own version of the Bible and what were his sins? Do you believe the rapture on May 14, 2019 will happen? I guess it didn't. Do you believe you will be alive for the second coming of Christ? Why or why not? Hmm. Wow. Why is the King James? What is the King James only movement? Mm. Man, this guy Tyrone Harbert answers lots of questions in Quora. So I would say he's an expert. And one of the questions that I found interesting. Uh, uh, okay, this one. Okay, so let's read this one. So, which of the four canonical gospels is the best written? The question is, which of the four canonical gospels is the best written? I'm quite sure anyone reading this answer knows that any answer is subjective when it comes to such a question. I shall humbly do my best to give a full and informed response. when one takes up to read the Gospels, you quickly will notice a difference in style and content of these writings, even while noting similarities and parallels. Obviously, the Gospels are written differently by different men, and as the observant Bible student can see, each was written for a different purpose at different times. I will avoid dealing with these scholarly theories about the origins and backgrounds of the Gospels and just get right to the heart of the question. Okay, let's start with Matthew's Gospel. Levi, better known as Matthew, was a tax collector at the time the Lord Jesus called him, so he was a man prone to details and exact records by consequence of his trade. In his account, we can find the most out of all the Gospels of what Jesus actually said and taught. Matthew being the first-hand witness to a great many things and actually there at the foot of Christ, one must surely appreciate his detailed accounting of the Messiah. Let us be quite frank and honest on this point. How can one claim to be a follower of Jesus and not know what he taught? So it is that if, when you say best written, you're actually meaning the content, then Matthew would be the best. Okay, so that's good to know. I would think that Matthew, in terms of content, is the best. Now let's look at Mark. This gospel is the shortest. Ah, this is the shortest of them all. It was written later by John Mark, who traveled with the Apostle Peter. Some traditions hold Mark was Peter's translator. Most Bible scholars admit that Peter was a simple fisherman, probably the least educated of all the apostles. So it is generally understood that while much content may be from Mark's own witness, the gospel is generally accepted as being told to Mark by Peter himself. This gospel is definitely an important text considering the vital role of the early days of Christianity that Peter held as an apostle. Personally, Mark's gospel is my favorite of them all because in it you will find the most of Jesus in action, his actual deeds and works, more so than his teaching. Many understand the phrase actions speak louder than words when it comes to knowing someone. No doubt to those of this mind who would seek to understand the person and work of Christ, this gospel would be the best written. Okay. But this brings to light, no, this brings us to the Gospel of Luke. If we look at the person of Luke, we find that he was a traveler and companion to the Apostle Paul, who wrote over half the New Testament books. Luke is well known as the Greek physician, a doctor. The gospel itself is actually uh, written as the personal letter, which continues into the book of Acts. Unlike Matthew, which its Greek text is said to be a translation from a lost original Hebrew by many, and Mark written by a basic Greek. Here, in Luke's writing, we have a very formal written account by a very educated and well-informed man relating events and conversations in a more formal manner. I would dare say that our current modern scholarship has a difficult time when it comes to the underlying Greek text of Luke's gospel. They lack the education and knowledge that scholars had during the days of the King James translators. I would even dare say that there has not been a real good commentary on the gospel based on its original Greek since the days of Fred Godet in 1871. If one is wanting just a simple, best written based on grammar, structure, and content, then the absolute hands down best of all would have to be the Gospel of Luke. Now, finally, let us look at the Gospel of John. This work was the latest written of the Gospels and also by another first-hand witness to the matters contained. John wrote his Gospel obviously with a different purpose than the other writers. He wrote his work long after the others, and after years of suffering for his faith. He no doubt knew his readers were already familiar with the other Gospels and the stories and teachings of Jesus. No doubt in his work, you find a fresh account and events not given in the others, as well as teachings not in the others. John's appeal was more towards the Roman mind and the heart of his day. Most scholars say one has to admit that John's gospel is the absolute most spiritual of them all, containing matters of that nature. When one takes up to read a religious book, its content is certainly what they have an appetite for. It is by far the most deeply profound and spiritual of all the Gospels. So if we are looking for the best written with the fact that it is a spiritual book, then none compares to John's Gospel account. To simply answer, I have to say Matthew is the best if looking to find the most accurate record of teachings of Jesus. Mark is the best if you want the best account of what actually just Jesus did. Luke is by far the best written style, and John is the most spiritually written. So, there you have it. But I'm going to use a random generator. Random number generator. So I'm going to flip a coin, you could say, but instead of heads or tails, we have 4 possibilities, 1 through 4, and we'll flip it and see who we start reading first. So 1 means Matthew, 2 means Mark, 3 means Luke, 4 means John. So I'm going to hit generate, and it will generate which of the 4 Gospels I will begin to read first. So, in the order that they appear in the Bible, in the New Testament, 1 meaning the first one, Matthew, and so forth until John would be number 4. So the 4 Gospels are enumerated in that manner. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Let's generate and see which one we will be reading first. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna press generate. I'm gonna hit it. I'm on a web page. Maybe I should go to it. If it's this. Yes, okay, let's go like this. Copy and stop sharing. Want to make sure that we share what we're about to do. Whoop. Let's see. Okay, so we're at random.org, true random number service. So what is this fuss about true randomness? Okay, perhaps you have wondered how predictable machines like computers can generate randomness. In reality, most random numbers used in computer programs are pseudo-random, which means they are generated in a predictable fashion using a mathematical formula. This is fine for many purposes, but it may not be random in the way you expect if you are used to dice rolls and lottery drawings. So random.org offers true random numbers to anyone on the internet. The randomness comes from atmospheric noise, which for many purposes is better than pseudo random number algorithms typically used in computer programs. People use random.org for holding drawings, lotteries, and sweepstakes to drive online games, for scientific applications, and for art and music. The service has existed since 1998 and was built by Dr. Mads Hang of the School of Computer Science and Statistics in Trinity College, Dublin, in Ireland. Today, random.org is operated by Randomness and Integrity Services Limited. Okay. So we're going to select a number from 1 to 4. So 1 represents Matthew. 2 represents Mark. 3 represents Luke. 4 represents John. The 4 Gospels. So which one shall we read first? And we hope to read all the way through it before going on to the next one. Okay, then we'll have to use this random number generator to read the next one, the remaining 3, and so forth. So drum roll, here we go. Let's see. So let us pray. Let us pray. But which one do I personally want to read first? Well, I have biased views on which one to read first, but I see that I'm beginning to understand the differences between the 4. So I could get into John, but it's too advanced for me, spiritual maybe. I could get into Mark, just see what actions Jesus did, and let more action, less talk. Or I could get into Matthew because it's got a lot of what Jesus said. Luke seems to be well written. If you're a Greek student of Greek language, maybe. Let's see. So before I do that, I would like to Go to Wikipedia. Hmm. Hmm. The four. Oh oh my gosh, it's coming out in Spanish. Hmm. I like Spanish, but sure. Hmm. Hmm. Here's English. Okay, let's see. The gospel. Let's see. Okay, let's go to this. Oh boy, go back to this. Is the this before you make a random choice. Let's see. Share. Perhaps we need to investigate further what is a gospel. So, gospel originally meant the Christian message, the gospel. But in the second century, it came to be used also for the books in which the message was reported. In this sense, the gospel can be defined as a loose knit episodic narrative of the words and deeds of Jesus, culminating in his trial and death and concluding with various reports of his post resurrection appearances. Modern biblical scholars are cautious of relying on the Gospels uncritically, but nevertheless, they provide a good idea of the public career of Jesus, and critical study can attempt to distinguish the original ideas of Jesus from those of later Christian authors. The canonical Gospels are the four which appear in the New Testament of the Bible. They were probably written between AD 66 and 110. All four were anonymous, with the names of the four evangelists added in the second century. Almost certainly none were by eyewitnesses. Almost certainly none were by eyewitnesses. And all are the end products of long oral and written transmission. Oh, so the scholars will suspect that they were probably not written by eyewitnesses. Oh, it says Mark was the first to be written using a variety of sources. The authors of Matthew and Luke both independently used Mark for their narrative of Jesus' career, supplementing it with a collection of sayings called the Q source and additional materials unique to each. There is near consensus that John had its origin as the hypothetical science gospel, though thought to have been circulated within a Johannine community. The contradictions and discrepancies between the first three and John make it impossible to accept both traditions as equally reliable. Many non-canonical gospels were also written later than the four canonical gospels, and like them, advocating the particular theological views of their various authors. Important examples include the Gospels of Thomas, Peter, Judas, and Mary. Infancy Gospels, such as that of James, the first to introduce the perpetual virginity of Mary. And Gospel harmonies, such as Diatessae. So, Gospel is the Old English translation of the Hellenistic Greek term. Oh, am I running out of battery? Yeah. Uh, let's see if I can. Let's see if I can. Oh, I probably. It's probably. I probably get better audio without my headset. Maybe sometimes. Hmm. Okay. I got it plugged in. So the gospel is the Old English translation of the Hellenistic Greek term. Oh boy, I can't read Greek. Uh, it's got the letter E that looks like a number 8. Maybe that's epsilon. Maybe not. It's got a U with a mark above it. It's got an A. That's probably alpha. It's got a Y. It could be sigma. Another Y. And another looks like E but with an accent over it. And there's a symbol. Hmm, what's that symbol? It looks like a Chinese symbol for a person walking. Oh, and then it's got LOV. That's in Victor. LOV. So anyway, that way you read, however way you read it. Oh, you know what? I could copy it, and go to. Maybe you won't be able to see it, but I could go to Google Translate and change this to detect the language and then paste it. Oh, Evangelion. How do you pronounce it? What? Evangelion. Evan. Evangelion. Hmm. Evangelion. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So I don't know Greek, but Evangelion, that's what that means. And that means good news. This may be seen from analysis of Evangelion. Ev means good, and Angelion means messenger. Oh, maybe an angel is in there. Ah, yeah, and angelos messenger. Eh, Eon diminutive suffix. The Greek term was Latinized as evangelium in the Vulgate and translated into Latin as bona annunziato.
Bona means good, and annunciato, it sounds like announcing. In Old English, it was translated as God's spell or good news. God's spell, news. Old English term was retained as gospel in Middle English Bible translations and hence remains in use also in modern English. Okay, so the canonical gospels. So the four canonical gospels share the same basic outline of the life of Jesus. He begins his public ministry in conjunction with that of John the Baptist, calls disciples, teaches and heals and confronts the Pharisees, dies at the cross, and is raised from the dead. Each has its own distinctive understanding of him and his divine role. And scholars recognize that the differences of detail between the Gospels are irreconcilable, and any attempt to harmonize them would only disrupt their distinct theological messages. Any attempt to harmonize them. Oh no, what do we do? We can't harmonize them. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are termed the synoptic gospels because they present very similar accounts of the life of Jesus. Mark begins with the baptism of the adult Jesus and the heavenly declarations that he is the Son of God. He gathers followers and begins his ministry and tells his disciples that he must die in Jerusalem, but that he will rise. In Jerusalem, he is at first acclaimed, but then rejected, betrayed, and crucified. And when the women who have followed him come to his tomb, they find it empty. Mark never calls Jesus God or claims that he existed prior to his earthly life. Apparently believes that he had a normal human parentage and birth, and makes no attempt to trace his ancestry back to King David or Adam. It originally ended at Mark 6:18 and had no post-resurrection appearances, although Mark 16:7, in which the young man discovered in the tomb instructs the women to tell the disciples and Peter that Jesus will see them again in Galilee, hints that the author knew of the tradition. The authors of Matthew and Luke added infancy and resurrection narratives to the story they found in Mark, although the two differ markedly. Each also makes subtle theological changes to Mark. Oh, the Mark The Mark and miracle stories, for example, confirm Jesus' status as an emissary of God, which was Mark's understanding of the Messiah. But in Matthew, they demonstrate his divinity. And the young man who appears at Jesus' tomb in Mark becomes a radiant angel. Luke, while following Mark's plot more faithfully than Matthew, has expanded on the source, corrected Mark's grammar and syntax, and eliminated some passages entirely, notably most of chapters 6 and 7. John, the most overtly theological, is the first to make Christological judgment outside the context of the narrative of Jesus' life. It presents a significant different picture of Jesus' career, omitting any mentions of his ancestry, birth and childhood, his baptism, temptation, transfiguration, his chronology and arrangements of incidents is also distinctly different, clearly describing the passage of the 3 years of Jesus' ministry in contrast to the single year of the synoptics, placing the cleansing of the temple at the beginning rather than at the end. in the Last Supper on the day before Passover instead of being a Passover meal. The Gospel of John is the only gospel to call Jesus God, and in contrast to Mark, where Jesus hides his identity as Messiah. In John, he openly proclaims it. So, the relationship between the synoptic gospel. So, Mark, what does 76% mean? Verses 18. Does that mean that in Mark 76% is okay, 76% of Mark and 41% of Luke and 46% of Matthew are common to each other. Comes from a triple tradition, they suspect. Unique to Mark is only 3%. And what's common to between Mark and Luke is 3% and 1%. Is that correct? Yes, because if you look at Luke, you can see that 35% is unique to Luke. And between Luke and Matthew, there's something common between them that it's around 23 and 24%. Respectively, it's a double tradition. They call wherever they got the commonality, they call that the double tradition. Mm. And in Matthew, there's a big 20% that is unique to Matthew. In Matthew, 10% is considered common to Mark, but it's coming from it just says that it's Mark and Matthew. They're very connected. Mm. So, what is that triple tradition? And what is that double tradition? Okay, so like the rest of the New Testament, the four Gospels were written in Greek. The Gospel of Mark probably dates from AD 66 to 70. Matthew and Luke, 85 to 90. And John, 90 to 110. Despite the traditional ascriptions, all four are anonymous, and most scholars agree that none were written by eyewitnesses. Most scholars agree that none were written by eyewitnesses. How could they say that? Because tradition says that at least three or all were written by eyewitnesses. A few conservative scholars defend the traditional ascriptions or attributions, but for a variety of reasons, the majority of scholars have abandoned this view or hold it only tenuously. According to Jonathan Bernier, if Paul could have composed texts such as Romans by the end of the 50s, then it is unclear why other Christians could not have composed texts such as the canonical Gospels just as early. In the immediate aftermath of Jesus' death, his followers expected him to return at any moment, certainly within their own lifetimes. And in consequence, there was little motivation to write anything down for future generations. But as eyewitnesses began to die off and the missionary needs of the church grew, there was an increasing demand and need for written versions of the founder's life and teachings. So the stages of this process can be summarized as follows. Oral traditions, the stories and sayings passed on largely as separate self-contained units, not in any order. Written collections of miracle stories, parables, sayings, etc., with oral tradition continuing alongside these, and then written proto-gospels preceding and serving as the source for the gospels. The dedicatory preface of Luke, for example, testifies to the existence of a previous account of the life of Jesus. Gospels formed by combining proto-gospels, written collections, and still current oral traditions. This view of the process of development from the oral to the written has been challenged by an alternative thesis which sees the gospel authors as individual elite cultural producers in the classical vein with agency in the composition of their texts rather than primarily transmitters of the tradition. Mark is generally agreed to be the first gospel. It uses a variety of sources, including conflict stories, apocalyptic discourse, and collection of sayings, although not the sayings of the sayings gospel known, not the sayings gospel known as the Gospel of Thomas, probably not the hypothesized Q source used by Matthew and Luke. The authors of Matthew and Luke, acting independently, used Mark for their narrative of Jesus' career, supplementing it with the hypothesized collection of sayings called the Q source and additional material unique to each called the M source for Matthew and the L source for Luke. Mark, Matthew, and Luke are called the synoptic gospels because the close similarities between them in terms of content, arrangement, and language. The authors and editors of John may have known the synoptics, but did not use them in the way that Matthew and Luke used Mark. There is near consensus that this gospel had its origin as a signs source or gospel that circulated within the Johannine community, which produced John and the three epistles associated with the name, and later expanded with a passion narrative as well as a series of discourses. All four also used the Jewish scriptures by quoting or referencing passages, interpreting text or alluding to or echoing biblical themes. Such use can be extensive. Mark's description of the parousia, second coming, is made up almost entirely of quotations from scripture. Matthew is full of quotations and allusions, and although John uses scripture in a far less explicit manner, its influence is still pervasive. Their source was the Greek version of the scriptures called the Septuagint. They do not seem familiar with the original Hebrew. The consensus among modern scholars is that the gospel are a subset of the ancient genre of bios or ancient biographies. Ancient biographies were concerned with providing examples for readers to emulate while preserving and promoting the subject's reputation and memory. The Gospels were never simply biographical, they were propaganda and kerygma preaching. As such, they present the Christian message of the second half of the first century. And as Luke's attempt to link the birth of Jesus to the census of Quirinius demonstrates, there is no guarantee that the Gospels are historically accurate. Hmm. The majority view among critical scholars is that the authors of Matthew and Luke have based their narratives on Mark's Gospel, editing him to suit their own ends, and the contradictions and discrepancies between these three and John make it impossible to accept both traditions as equally reliable. Uh, in addition, the Gospels were read to we read today have been edited and corrupted over time, leading Origen to complain in the third century that the differences among manuscripts have been great because copyists either neglect to check over what they have to transcribe, or in the process of checking, they made additions or deletions as they pleased. Most of these are insignificant, but many are significant. An example being Matthew 118 altered to imply the preexistence of Jesus. For these reasons, modern scholars are cautious of relying on the Gospels uncritically, but nevertheless, they do provide a good idea of the public career of Jesus. And critical study can attempt to distinguish the original ideas of Jesus from those of later authors. Scholars usually agree that John is not without historical value. Certain of its sayings are as old or older than the synoptic counterparts, and its representation of the topography around Jerusalem is often superior to that of the synoptics. Its testimony that Jesus was executed before rather than on Passover might well be more accurate, and its presentation of Jesus in the garden and the prior meeting held by the Jewish authorities are possibly more historically plausible than their synoptic parallels. Nevertheless, it is highly unlikely that the author had direct knowledge of events or that his mentions of the beloved disciple as his source should be taken as a guarantee of his reliability. Um, uh, Non-canonical. There's other gospels, Gnostic gospels. The Gnostic gospels uphold the idea that the universe is a product of a hierarchy of gods, of whom the Jewish God is a rather low ranking member. Gnosticism holds that Jesus was entirely spirit and that his earthly life and death were therefore only an appearance, not a reality. Many Gnostic texts deal not in concepts of sin and repentance, but with illusion and enlightenment. Hmm. Okay. Uh, uh, so let's go back. Let's go back to the random number generator, and let's hmm, let's see about generating the number that we need to just finally make the decision to choose which one I will start with first. This is how I'm going to choose which one of the four, or maybe I should choose whether to choose it this way or whether to choose it by my preference. Okay, let's go to another kind of random generator, but it's a coin flip. I don't know if I can't show this to you, but I guess we could go back to this. So I'm going to put 2. So from 1 to 2. So 1 means, yes, I will choose one of the 4 gospels using the random number generator. Or 2, no, I will not choose the gospel to read first using the random number generator. I will choose the one I prefer to start with first. So I will run this. So 1 is use the random number generator. 1 is to use the random number generator. And 2 is to not use the random number generator. Well, I'm using this random number generator to generate the choice of whether to use the random number generator or whether not to use it for future choices. The future choice being to either run the random number generator of the minimum being 1 and the maximum being 4 to choose which one of the 4 I will read first. So I may do that, I may not. And whether I do that or not will be determined right here with this random number generation of 2 possibilities, 1 or 2. It's like heads or tails. So heads is 1 and tails is 2, let's say. So heads 1 will be, yes, I will choose which of the 4 gospels to read in a random manner, or uh, that's uh, that's 1. Or 2, no, I will not use the random number generator. I will go by my preference. And I think my preference, well, I won't say yet. But here I go. I'm going to press generate, and between 1 and 2. 1 is to generate a random number between 1 and 4 to choose the one of the 4 gospels, or 2 is to go by my preference, my bias, my choice. Okay, here I go. Ready? Generate. 1. Okay, I got 1. So that means I get to generate uh or this makes it definitely, I'm going to go from 1 to 4. I'm going to generate a number between 1 and 4, and that will represent the book that I have to start with first. The 1 me being Matthew, 2 being Mark, 3 Luke, 4 John. Here I go. Ready? One. I got one. Is this thing working? I guess it is. The result? Yeah. One. So I will be starting with Matthew. Yay. So what's this all this fuss about? Generating I will start off with Matthew. I will be reading from Matthew. Ah, but now, let's see. Oh, but I will be ending this live meeting, this live session on Wake Up to Good News. I've decided to begin reading from the book of Matthew, but maybe I didn't decide on that. It was chosen by the random number generator. The universe chose it for me. Okay, so so what? Uh, I, I I have an appointment at around 10 today. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I feel lazy now, but I have to do this. Uh, and it's 9:30, so I better get going. So I have to say, well, let me. Yeah, I got 37% on my phone now. It was kind of getting low. It's charging up pretty fast. Okay. Uh, so I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to get out of bed. Uh, 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 so what have we learned? It's that we don't know shit. We don't know much. That's what I've learned. Let's see. So yes, I'm going to be reading from. Oh my goodness, Matthew. Hmm. Let's see. Gather up my toys. Maybe I should wear glasses because I'll be driving. Mm, there's some glasses. Mm. Mm. There's my singing for this morning. I'm going to put something on. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Uh, yeah. There's my keys, and maybe I need to wear some pants or shorts. I'm gonna see if I can find some shorts. I got 80% of my clothes are in the laundry box to be washed. So I don't have too many clothes left that are clean. Let's see. In this box, I got some shorts. I could wear this one. It's okay. Oh, I could see if I got a shirt. I could wear that shirt. Oh yeah, that'll be good. And any underwear? You wear underwear. This underwear? Oh, these. Oh, I'm out of underwear. That's not good. Out of clean underwear. Yeah, maybe I should wear some clean socks. Hmm. No, these go together. I haven't paired my socks. Mm. Ah. Mm. 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 Oh. Mm. Mm. Oh, this is dangerous. Do not try this at home. My leg still hurts. But it hurts at the near the skin level, maybe deeper. But when my when I touch my skin at my thigh, the front of the thigh, it hurts. So the clothes that touch my skin at the thigh, the left thigh, causes some annoying pain. Mm, mm. Okay, so I got a short on somewhat. I'm gonna wear these socks. I'm gonna take the socks off that I had been wearing all through the night. I guess I could clean my feet. I'm not gonna be taking a shower for this morning run. Uh, but I got some wipes. I could wipe down my feet with them. That's something. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, boy. Uh, mm, uh, I wonder if this will soothe my bit. I think it's a pinched nerve. Oh, this left thigh is hurting. As I wipe it down, it hurts. The way do I do it? I'm not. I'm hoping that. I wonder where it comes from. Uh, Let me wipe down my feet, my toes. Mm, mm, mm. That's why. I get another one. You like to wipe down my face. Mm, mm, I think I need to cut my toenails a little bit. Mm. 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 And get the other foot. Mm. Mm. uh, oh. Mm. Uh, uh, I, okay. Wear your socks. Mm. Mhm. Um, is the air conditioner too loud? And I got an air conditioner right there. It's running. I I don't know what I got it set for. Maybe 78. It's temperatures says it's 70, oh, 73. I wonder what the temperature is according to this thermometer that's on the wall. I got a thermometer here. Mm. Let's see what it says. It looks like it's 70, 77. It's right below 80, it looks like. That's, what is that? 26 Celsius? Something like that. Uh, oh boy. Hmm. Oh, I got another phone. It's being charged. I need to sell a phone. Sell a phone, sell a phone. I need to sell a phone. Oh, hmm, hmm. Let's turn this phone on. So we always have two phones with me. Ah. Ah. Uh, the pants touching my thigh. My mm, mm. Okay, that was my landlady reminding me of the appointment. Told her that I'm almost there. I'll be ready in a few minutes. I'll be there. All I have to do is walk to the house, the main house. The uh, mm, trash. Mm, mm. Well, there's trash on the floor, kind of. Uh,
Hmm. Mm, 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 mm. Maybe I could go to the gym. I think I'll go to the gym. Hmm. Hmm. So after I leave her, I'll go to the gym. To what do I do to the gym? I'll try to do a little bit of exercise and get into the jacuzzi. Uh, oh, ah, hmm. This is another shirt I want to wear. Hmm. So I'm gonna take this shirt off. Uh, and wear that shirt. Uh, 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 uh. Oh boy. But, hmm. uh, hmm. Let's see what other shirt can I take to work. Hmm. Let's see if I can find a shirt to wear. Yeah. Wear this. Yeah, I can wear that to the pool. I'm gonna wear this to get into the jacuzzi. Looks like pajamas. Anyways, okay. I'm gonna do this. I want to take that. Oh, no, that's not it. There it is. Oh. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, hmm. Okay, take that. Hmm. Oh, take this. Oh, you know what? There's some glasses in here. Hmm. Yeah, I should put those in. No, they might get hurt. Get hurt. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. We'll take this, take that. Oh, and take that. Oh, and take that. Too. Hmm. Uh, hmm. So I'm gathering all my cookies. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There. How's that? I'm ready. Get all my toys. This is for my phone. Oh no, this is for my phone cases. This is for my phone. I get my headphone headset. Mm, this orange bag has got my wallet and my keys. Hmm. I want to take this towel. Hmm. And this gym bag. So I can go into the gym. I think I could take this just in case, because afterwards I can go to work. Hmm. Oh, maybe I need to wear some pants. So I'll wear these pants. What's in that bag? Yeah, I'll take that bag anyway. What's in that bag? Oh, those are glasses. Mhm. Ah, okay. And I'm gonna put my shoes on. There we go. Hmm. Oh boy. I should take some water. Mm. There's the water. Uh, well, it's empty, but I can fill it up. I should brush my teeth. I think I did brush my teeth earlier this morning. Mm. 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 Okay, I got my water. Hmm. What is that? Ultra calming, foaming. Hmm. Hmm. Where can I put my water? Hmm. I could put it in this bag. Hmm. Okay. I can turn off the light with this remote. Ah. I'll leave the air conditioner running. I could wash, clean my mouth with some mouthwash. Maybe the, the I'm not going to wash my teeth right now. Maybe I'll clean my mouth with this mouthwash. I haven't used it. It's a Tom's. It should be pretty good. I'll open it. There we go. I have to open this. Oh. Mm. 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 Mm, 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 mm. 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 Yeah. I spit it into a cup. It's got mostly toothpaste. Uh, toothpaste. What is it? Toothpaste. Waste that was in my mouth when I was brushing my teeth. So who knows what kind of chemicals are forming there. Okay. Mhm. Mm. 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 I made it.
What are you full of what? Are
my
you bringing it to your car?
my toys
Oh,
to bring to the car. So afterwards I can go to the gym and then go to work.
Take your car, and then later
And then
on you'll get my
in
car.
around
Yeah.
4 I pick you up with
Yeah,
your car.
between 3.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh. Hmm. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't go to work. Be too sleepy. Good morning. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I better make sure it doesn't. Yeah, I don't want it to go off. This door doesn't work. Hmm. I can leave these here. Hmm. And this one, what's that? Oh, that's my pants. What's this? Oh, that's my gym bag. I also have another gym bag over there, don't I? Or maybe I brought it inside. Mm. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. I can take this off. Mhm. I can take this off. Mm. Mm. I could take this off for now to make it more comfortable driving, and take this off. Mm. Yeah. Mm. No. Mhm.
you're gonna hit your spine. I'm getting in trouble.
Mm. Oh. Oh, I got that. Wait.
Don't mind, we can just, can we stop by at Publix really quick?